Hey, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live. We're obviously in a little different setting than usual, but we're here at Haley's place. We're enjoying some cake, but we probably will not eat unless, obviously, another person is talking. So, just want to quick kind of throw out a couple announcements, I guess. I'm working very hard on getting the website all updated with all of our cases because I'm way behind and that's completely my fault. We just got done going over evidence from our latest case from the Leduc, and we got some pretty amazing stuff that we're looking forward to putting on the website quickly. We also have a blog now that is run by Sam, but any of us are going to be able to post, and we're going to be writing about our cases. And that should be updated fairly quickly after we are done with an investigation, as opposed to evidence, which could take a couple weeks. So look forward to that. We already have one up from our investigation at Leduc a few weeks ago. If you want to head out to the website and read what Sam wrote. But otherwise, just keep going back, keep checking, I guess. And if you see that I haven't been doing my job, you have my permission, as these guys all do, of calling me out on it, because I could use that motivation sometimes. The other thing is we have some amazing questions that were posted by you guys throughout social media, not just on Facebook, which we're really looking forward to answering here in a couple minutes. The people who submitted a question were added into a drawing, or we're going to be added into a drawing for either a free t-shirt or one of our fuzzy socks. We did get 5 submissions, which we're very, very thankful for. And we have decided that there is not going to be a drawing. Everybody wins. So if you submitted a question, congratulations. Either myself or Lauren will be reaching out to you here shortly in the next day or two to find out. You will have your choice of what you want, whether it's be a pair of socks or one of our It's Not a Demon t-shirts. So very, very congratulations to everybody. We're very appreciative that you took the time to ask us something. So with that said, we are going to kind of slide right into our questions. The first one being, I might not take these in order because there's some. Let's start with, as a paranormal investigation group, do you ever feel pressure to find something for your clients? You know me, I want to be the last one to go. So yeah. you guys can all answer first.
I've never felt pressured. I find that most of the time they just want validation, whether there actually be something or not, because sometimes even though it's not paranormal, there's still something else going on in the house causing it.
Yeah, I would say I've never felt pressure like from a client or internally to sort of find something like that. That feels very inauthentic. And that's something we would never want to aim to do. If we don't find anything, then we don't find anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing there. So yeah, I would say I don't think we've ever had a client be like, at least in my experience, a client be like, what the hell, you didn't find anything? You know, like I don't think we've ever had that. And I've certainly never felt like I need to come up with something if there was nothing there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think a lot of times when a client comes to us, it's more for validation and for a listening ear. So whether we find something, in a lot of cases, sometimes they don't really care as long as we could tell them, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what we think you should do. Sometimes they don't even, you don't absolutely need evidence to show to them, as long as you can kind of direct them as to here's how you should go about, with whatever goal you have, and we can help you get there. But yeah, no, by no means should you fake evidence to make a client feel better about a case that they have. You should not do that. That's not trustworthy. That's not what we do.
I agree with everybody that I've never felt pressured to find something that I didn't actually find. may have had one or two who wanted me not to find anything. And I didn't feel pressured there either. I just, they get what I find. And whatever I find is, I give them an accurate account of what I find or don't find.
Yeah. So basically, have we ever felt pressure to find anything? No, that's not our job. Our job isn't to find something. Our job is to find answers, regardless of what they are. If I have had clients who are absolutely certain that there's something going on in their house, but we have found natural explanation for those. That's not finding something, that's finding the answers. I guess if you want to be technical, answers are something, but we're not doing that right now because I'm assuming that the whole find something is find evidence. So no, and even if a client I have actually had clients that have been like, now watch, you're not going to find anything. Like I've had them scared that we're not going to, but we have. But there have been at least one case where we literally found nothing, absolutely nothing. But what we did find was that their furnace from like the 1970s was putting out an EMF of like 179 when it was on. And for anyone who doesn't know anything about EMF, that's a lot. Not to mention the client who was experiencing a lot was suffering from mental health. Unfortunately, sometimes that's the case. I have never had a client be disappointed or upset that we haven't found anything, especially since, as Lauren said, we then give them advice on what other stuff they can do. Why did we not find something? Like, that's the next question. If we didn't find something, why? What are the other explanations for it? And again, that's what our job. Our job is not to find evidence. Our job is to find the answers, regardless of what they are. So, I mean, I really like that question because I think there are people out there who will try to find something. They're trying to do their best for the client. They're not trying to be popular or anything, but they're like, I think they kind of feel the pressure of the client is trusting me to confirm their suspicions that there's hauntings out there. There's a haunting in my house. I'd better be able to find something. Otherwise, they might accuse me of not doing my job. And unfortunately, it's a very real thing. We, as a team, do not, I guess, succumb to that because, again, not our job. So thank you for that question. And Lauren will be reaching out to you on Instagram for what you would like as your thank you from us for doing that. All right, next one. What has been the team's most intense investigation? So I think that, because there's another question that's kind of like this, but this is the team's investigation, whereas the other one is individual. So we have not talked about this at all. What do you guys think as a team our most intense investigation has been?
I think, at least up for the running, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the more intense moments, at least for us, was that bed and breakfast in Iowa, when we were finding out that there was actually a really sad situation going on with the spirits and they did not really feel welcome or at home and that they were trapped. I know that was a very intense moment for all of us because it was very powerful.
Yeah, that was also going to be my answer, I think. Though Cameron, I don't think you were at that one, right?
Yeah.
No.
That was a while ago.
But I guess with the majority of us in the room,
Yeah.
would probably be that one. I think that there was a lot of intense energy there. Scott got to do a prayer, which was a very intense moment, even though it ended up, I think, being very much like personal experience rather than something where we caught a lot of intense evidence. But I know, like Lauren, I feel like that's where you started to maybe pick up on some intuitive stuff there that maybe you didn't realize you had before.
Yeah.
I remember that was the investigating, the only one so far, whenever where you felt inclined, or at least motivated enough to actually write a letter.
I wrote a full front page back everything letter and left it there. They probably don't know what the hell it's about, but it's fine.
And for clarification, not to the homeowners,
No.
but to the spirit.
No, there was a lady, I think it was the lady in pink or the lady in the pink room or whatever it was, that we believe had possibly lost a child and was kind of stuck in a state of mourning. It was kind of sad. And of course, it was literally 2 feet away from the bed that I was sleeping in that whole weekend. So that was great. That's what I get for showing up late.
That's right. You get the most haunted bed.
Yes, I do.
Most haunted bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the Mason House is the location that we're talking about in absolutely nowhere, Iowa, which is almost every city in Iowa.
Yes.
So we didn't really narrow it down at all. But that was also a place, and this is one of the questions, this has nothing to do with the intensity of it, where myth and legend and stories and assumptions ran wild. I'm not going to go into details of what all I'm talking about, but let's just say when the homeowners were going over everything, like I started to twitch. I mean, these guys thought that I was like going to have a seizure. I was just like, because everything that they were saying was wrong. And, but that still didn't get rid of, the evidence that we caught and the experiences that we had. Just because myth and legend is exaggerated to on steroids doesn't mean there's nothing there. And so it was still a great weekend. It was still a great event. And I guess whereas I would not consider that our most intense, I see why everybody thinks that. So yeah, I mean, I'll agree with it. It had a lot of intense moments. And I'm just glad, especially when we were up in the attic, when we were all there, we all experienced something. And yeah, I can get behind that. I guess my memory of it is overshadowed by all the bullshit that was surrounding it. So I guess I'm a little non-biased, I guess, in that one. I don't know how, either biased or non-biased. I don't know.
Well, what would you say then is our team's most intense, if that wouldn't be your top pick?
I honestly don't know, because I guess my level of intensity is different than everybody else's. So, I mean, there have been a lot of cases where memorable things have happened to people, but not to me. And, that sort of thing. It was, I don't know if it was Sam. I think it was Sam. Sam's not here, by the way. He was ill. Could not join us. But I was talking with Sam about it, and he mentioned our latest case in Leduc might be something. I think it's turning into it because now it's an ongoing thing. So I would say I would go either or.
Okay.
Scott, do you have a?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Scott.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Anything to add? All right. All right. Can animals become ghosts and spirits?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother for sending this question. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, Scott, you've had an experience, right, with a cat?
The cat, after we had to put it to sleep, and a number of times, I felt I could still feel it crawling between my legs, jumping up on my bed and laying down next to me. So yeah, and that cat that convinced me that animals have souls. I never believed that before I met that cat, but
I've had experiences with animals too. I have dogs, like you hear like the clinking of their claws on because we have hardwood floors in our house, so you can hear them walking around. Like Scott, I've felt like a cat jump up and curl up on my bed with me. Even with hamsters, I've heard hamsters running around like a wheel before still. It's very common, I think.
I think haven't we had like an EVP? I feel like there was one, didn't the LeDukes used to have a dog or something like that? Or there was someone that had a dog. Am I getting that completely wrong? There was a dog named like, it started with a B.
Wasn't the LeDukes.
Well, someone had a dog, and we felt like we thought we caught like a dog barking on an EVP where we were like there were no dogs barking that night.
I remember that too.
I don't know where it was from.
That was a while
Obviously
ago.
not the LeDuc, I guess.
But no, I remember. Yeah, no.
The dog started with the B. I think. I don't know. But anyway, we would love to catch more animals.
Yes.
I think that'd be fun.
I would love to pet a ghost dog. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about it is, and I think that this is where a lot of people get it wrong, is I think that animals can still leave their energy just as humans can. So, I mean, a lot of what people experience as cats jumping up on the bed, that sort of thing, can be considered residual energy.
Yeah.
But, you know, there have been cases at the Manorville Opera House, which is just south of the cities. They found like a skeleton of a cat in their wall. And for the longest time, every once in a while, somebody would see a cat down in the basement, but there was no cat, or at least there wasn't supposed to be. They never caught it or anything. I know that there's an antique store down in Newmarket that I've been able to investigate where Dave, who was with me at the time, felt the cat do a figure 8 through his legs down in the basement. I do believe, as Scott said, that animals can definitely become spirits. I mean, hell, you go with the native thing, and I mean, animals are spirits in general. The eagle, the hawk, you know, they're always talking about their spirit animals. The fox, that sort of thing. So definitely, I mean, hell, you believe the Buddhists, you can come back as a bug if you lead that kind of life. So yeah, I definitely believe animals have souls, and they can come back to watch over you, same as they did when they were alive. All righty. All right. How come some people experience the paranormal different than others? And Lauren has some context for that.
Yes, I do. Let me find it.
Way to have it ready.
Sorry, you didn't tell me what order you were doing these in.
You should have had it ready.
Okay, so this person says, how come some people can experience paranormal different than others? I am 26 and have tried to have experiences my whole life and never have, while some people experience things all the time. I've explored haunted cemeteries and things like that and have never had a single experience.
I think a large part of that is just how sensitive you are to like energy. You hear about like intuitives and, you know, empaths being more open and susceptible to experiencing things like that, whereas someone who's a bit more, you know, maybe a bit on the skeptical side, they're always looking for a solid reason that's not paranormal. So that's what they're going to find. That's my explanation.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I feel like you just look at like, take everyone on the team, for example, we all perceive things in different ways. Like, got, you know, 3 people here who are a bit intuitive for sure. Me, not much. Mike's about as intuitive as a brick.
My words, not hers.
Yeah. So I think that, and also I think like one thing that we've discussed can be like your past lives too. Like, seems like in your past life you've been like a demon hunter and a demon slayer and all this stuff, and that
Van Helsing was mentioned, I might add.
yes, himself. Like that energy can, I think, carry on between lives. So if you've probably I think the more you practice being open to it, perhaps the more you'll be open in a new life, even if you aren't necessarily very open in this life.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of what we do has to do with intention. And I do think that spirits, probably some more than others, but spirits can kind of tell what your intention is. So if you're just kind of going thrill seeking and just want to be like, I demand you show yourself or something like that. If you're going about it the wrong way, odds are they're probably just going to keep their distance from you unless there's one that's hell-bent on scaring the crap out of you, which is very possible. But yeah, I do think it has a lot to do with intent. So, I mean, if there is, say, if you're going to a cemetery and there's somebody there that needs help, and you are open to hearing what they have to say or open to maybe helping them find some help, then maybe they'd be more likely to interact with you. But it does have a lot to do with intention. So that would be my 2 cents.
And to back that up, they don't want to be told what to do. They are more likely to relate to you if you're simply there and open to them. Just open yourself up. Each of us experiences the world in our own way. Some of us are more geared to visual stimulus, more toward audio stimulus, or tactile with feeling. And it's the same way with our psychic experiences. Some of us are more like to see things, some to hear things, some just to feel a presence. That is something that you can learn. If you want to learn it, you can do that. But with so many people have the problem is not that they're not having experiences, but they don't know what they're looking at. The experience can be there, it can show up for them, but they don't recognize it when they see it. Because they're looking for something big and extraordinary and miraculous, and it's like in the Bible when Elijah says he didn't see God in the hurricane, he didn't see him in the earthquake, he heard him in the still small voice. And some people just don't know to listen for that still small voice, because that may be where you get your experience rather than something amazing.
I just had a friend reach out to me just last week about one of her family members recently passed away, and she asked about, can you come in a dream? I want to communicate with you in a dream. But when she had the dream, she didn't think there was anything there. And I'm like, well, did you pay attention to what you were doing in the dream? What color was significant in the dream? Were there animals or something in the dream? The little details sometimes do tell a lot.
I was actually wondering if anybody would have come up with the difference between experiencing and perceiving. Good job, Scott. And I think that's the big difference here. People, I think, all the time experience the paranormal, but do they perceive it as being paranormal? And on the reverse side, are they experiencing something completely natural that they are then taking as paranormal? I know the person that wrote this, with the context said, I have friends that experience this all the time. But do they? Or is the house settling the knock they take as footsteps? Are all of these things that people say are paranormal that they're so inclined to believe is, part of the paranormal or supernatural in nature, just nothing paranormal at all. We can go into a place and investigate for hours, and we may catch a couple EVPs or whatever and have no personal experiences. We'll send another team in and they'll have experiences up the wazoo because they take every single thing that happens. Every dust particle is a spirit, is an orb, every nook and cranny that happens throughout the house is a footstep or a knock to one of their questions. They are going to come away perceiving everything as paranormal, whereas we wouldn't. And there are times maybe that we misunderstand some stuff, which is why we always get together and go over evidence. We all have to agree because somebody is going to see something differently. We usually, sometimes I forget, so that's my fault, but I like to tell people during presentations and stuff like that, or reveals, when you listen to EVPs, everybody is probably going to hear something different. which is why we like to not tell them what we hear until after they are able to make that decision. And, then we'll talk about it. I've actually been corrected by clients who hear something a little different than me. And then I listen to it again and I realize they are correct. Not that it wasn't an EVP to begin with, but maybe I had the wording wrong. It happens. So, there is a huge difference between experience and perceiving. The same way, somebody may perceive a baseball game differently because they're not rooting for that team. They're all going to have different experiences. Now, to the person that wrote this, not having any, stay away from cemeteries, at least by yourself. Do what Lauren did. Reach out to a team.
Or I know, like, I have a friend of a friend through this person, so reach out to me. I can help you.
But Scott was right. Everybody was right. It depends on how open you are. If you're going to these cemeteries with a flashlight and you got your own little recorder and you start demanding that they do stuff, they're not going to do it. Change your questions, change your attitude, change your mentality. And also ask yourself this, and I want you to really ask yourself this and answer it honestly. What are you going to do when you get that experience? Are you going to freak out? Are you going to scream and run? What are you going to do? Because you need to be careful about what you're asking for. What happens if one of these spirits gets upset with what you're doing and all of a sudden they're in your house because you invited them there or invited them to attach themselves to you? Reach out to Lauren. Reach out to any of us. If you ever have any questions about what to do and what not to do, that experience is out there for you. You just really need to be very specific on the kind of experience you want. Don't give the supernatural a blank slate and have them run with it. You will not like what gets drawn. I assure you of that one. But it's an amazing question. And I think that it's something that a lot of people struggle with. There's tons of times these guys will have an experience. And they're like, nope, I didn't hear that at all. I didn't see that at all. That doesn't mean that it's obviously not there. It's just an experience I didn't have that they did. And I'm perfectly all right with that. Anybody have anything more to add? Nope. All right. Go on more. All right. Which investigation location was the most creepy and or memorable for each of you personally?
For me, it was Ashmore. That's always my answer, but it's like easily where I've had the most experiences in terms of like hearing things, the most experiences in terms of feeling things, and yeah, just kind of a crazy place. Like that one stuck in the brain forever. So that's mine.
I would say most, like, what is it? Creepiest or most intense was the question?
And
Okay, well, I have two different answers then. The creepiest I would say was Franconia. When we went all the way to the back of that cemetery, there was a creepy dude there that I did not really like his vibe, and I felt like it was very chaotic, even though it was literally just four of us, and it was really calm what was actually happening. But because I was tuned into it, I'm like, this is chaotic and I cannot stand it. It was creepy for that sense. We were never in any physical danger, I will say that, but he was just a creepy, the dude that hangs out at the back of that cemetery was a little creepy to me. I would say the most intense was, I think it was the Mason House, just because that was one of my very first powerful experiences, more so sad than anything. And it kind of opened my eyes to the downside of, spirits being trapped or feeling like they're not heard or seen or just in a bad place and they can't do anything. So I would say it was intense for that reason. And because it was my first one, it felt a little bit more intense. So.
As for me, mine's both the most intense and the creepiest experience I've ever had, kind of in tandem. It was a place called the Farrar Schoolhouse down in Iowa. And it was the only investigation I've ever been on that I've been physically attacked or harmed in any way, shape, or form. And it was also I think, for at least as far as EVP goes, for me, a direct answer from whatever spirit did it, a direct answer as to where they did it too. So
And how they felt about it.
yeah. The EVPs are pretty creepy to listen to, but yeah, I had a nice little scratch mark on the side of my stomach. So that was pretty intense.
I don't know what to say about the creepy part. We already talked about experience and perception, and I think creepy is a matter of perception. Is how you look at the place. I think the more dilapidated the place is, the more it seems creepy. As far as experience, the intensity of the experience, I can't name one specific place, but I think every place like Ashmore and Farrar and Five Flags in Iowa, where I've actually seen apparitions and heard voices speaking directly to me, those are the most intense to me. And the most enjoyable, because I enjoy those direct communications. So I guess that's my answer.
I have said this before, and if I ever get an investigation that tops it, I will be a very happy person, and that might be my last investigation ever because I just peaked. But the Grand Opera House in Dubuque, Iowa, very first time that I was there, I had so many firsts that I was shell-shocked. My mind was blown. Heard footsteps for the very first time. Even though I had heard disembodied voices before, none were this loud or this long as was captured up in the costume shop. It was obviously is the place where the Grand Opera House Ferry was caught on the FLIR, which is still probably my favorite piece of evidence ever. In the theater area, this almost sounded like an old transistor radio, just screamed out of nowhere, like just filled the theater to the point where I thought somebody was like back at base camp, which was in the very far back up in the balcony. Nobody was up there because I was up in the balcony. Not to mention that the one piece of equipment that would make a sound like that didn't have that option of making that sound, which is why it's never used. But that one for me will stay in the top three, if not number one, for quite a long time. And if one ever actually takes it over, like I said, I think I've had my fill. So that's definitely the one for me. But all right. I mean, we would have taken questions from the audience now, even though you wouldn't have won anything, but it appears just Pam is watching. So thanks, Pam. Love ya. But I want to thank everybody again for writing in their questions on whatever social media platform. And again, congratulations, y'all won. We'll get out. Hopefully we'll get your stuff out here this week, either by myself or Lauren, but we're going to need obviously you to send us your contact information and how to, knew it was you, Pam, but we'll get that out to you as soon as we can. So thank you for writing in those questions. They were amazing. I really appreciate it. And we have no issue with answering any questions, whether it's on a live or not. So if anybody who is watching this later would like to write in a question, just to get their own answer, please do. We're here to help. We're here to find you answers, whether you're a client or not. So with that, if there's nothing else,
I have one thing.
you have one thing. Go.
We have a team TikTok page now, which we have not been advertising very much, or at all. Yes, we should post about it. But yes, we recently, about a week ago, joined TikTok. So we're it's at Odyssey Paranormal. We've got a couple videos up. I will be posting more, I promise.
We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll post about that perhaps on our Facebook and on Instagram. We'll make a little post about the team at TikTok.
Yeah,
There you
guys
go.
can follow it.
we'll post the link.
Cool.
To-
The team TikTok.
No, just no. But yes, I forgot that in my announcements. Thank you. So yeah, new TikTok, posting photos and stuff on a pretty regular basis. Thanks to Lauren on our Instagram. If you want to head out there, and not all of them are necessarily this team. Some of them are some great ones from my past, which I think are amazing. So yeah, if you want to head out there, make sure you subscribe to that and follow us at both those places. We have a Twitter. It's pretty much useless. I haven't been on it in a long time, and I don't plan to. So yeah, there you go. I don't have anything else. So we will see you soon. We're going to have a couple announcements here probably in the next couple weeks, including our next small event anyway. We really want to start doing that now that, if you look out the window, there's still a lot of white stuff on the ground. Spring is right around the corner. So be looking for that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. And now I have to get up and shut it off. So everybody have a good day. It's going to be a long wave. Keep doing it. You got it. Oh. Session's done.